Hey Slackers, welcome back to my channel, Cerius Blaq with Cerius Blaq. Today I am adding another installment to my playlist, Serious Stories. This is a section where I tell stories about myself and about my life, not just to be talking about myself, but to usually have some sort of message or to be vulnerable for the sake of showing other people, especially men, that it's okay to be vulnerable and to ask for help and to openly talk about your traumas. And today I'm going to be doing just that. Some stories will be funny, some stories will be like this. As you saw the title, this is the story of why I don't drive. It's not going to be very simple. By the way, don't worry, my room is not on fire. I've got incense burning. It's a bunch of things. So I'm going to be doing this in sections, and I'll try to make it as quick as possible because, even if I have a message, nobody wants to hear me blather on. So, first up, let's talk about this. No training. I have only received like lessons on how to drive from friends. I've never had any professional training whatsoever, and that goes all the way back to high school. I did not participate in the driving portion of driver's ed. I did the written part and I aced that. I can ace the written test, no problem. But I never went to the driver's course thing, and the reason behind that is that I was struggling in high school and not with grades. I just was dealing with some personal stuff, and that's a story for another day. But let's just say this: I didn't have the money for the course, and I wasn't even at school a lot during that time. And if I was at school, it was literally to get the other classwork done and then, you know, go take care of other business because, I'll just say it. I was in and out of the house at that time, and things just weren't, it wasn't in the cards, as they say. The second, so I've never had the training, you know, um, except for like friends showing me here and there. That was much later in life. But around that same time, I was also hit by several cars. And actually, this started in grade school. So in grade school, I got hit by a car during open lunch. I think it was eighth grade. Yeah, eighth grade, we had open lunch in Chicago. So I was out, and I think I ran a Little Caesars, me and two buddies. And on the way back, we were running late to get back from lunch. Didn't want to get in trouble. I wasn't paying attention. Got struck by a big body caddy on a one-way street going about 30. And I don't know everything that happened. I just know that I was blacked out. And I remember at that time laying on the ground in my big, winter coat. Thank God I had the big coat. So I think that might have saved me. Uh, Telling myself not to die in that moment and that I need to get up. Either I was telling myself that, and one of the dudes with me was telling me that. I don't know. But either way, I woke up and I actually went back to school like a dummy. I don't know. I clearly wasn't thinking. Nobody, uh, my mom did end up taking me to the hospital later when she saw me limping. So, but I turned out to be okay. I was mostly just bruised and knocked out, and I think I had a slight concussion. But so that was the first car accident. But I've been hit by cars at least three more times after that in my life, and one of them was in high school, right around the time where I was supposed to be going to driver's ed. Um, but so that's like those are outlier things involving vehicles that just make me. I'll be honest, make me a little bit nervous about vehicles. I have no training. I feel like for some reason in my head it's difficult. And then I've been struck by people behind the wheel several times, and the first one was definitely my fault. Some of the other ones were not. Okay, like I was literally one time just standing on the sidewalk, and somebody lost control and just smacked my ass with the car. And again, I wasn't super duper hurt, but it did involve crutches, um, and I don't know. Anyway, this isn't the important part of why I don't drive. If anything, it would have to be these. this is I've been in several car accidents in my life, and obviously it wasn't me that was driving. I've been a passenger for a long time, and I've been in a car that was T-boned. I've been in the vehicle that smashed some fences. I've been, just in a lot of car accidents, and it has always shook me. I don't know if it was the first one that did it or, whatever, but there's one in particular that I'm going to talk about next that I think really took the cake. Uh, Being in car accidents repeatedly, I think, would do something to anybody, especially if you never deal with it, which I didn't. Even though I'm a big believer in therapy, I don't know. This never came up until like years and years later. Um, but the big incident that I think it's funny. This isn't the big one of two big incidents. Let's just go into it. It's hard for me to talk about this. I ain't gonna lie, so I'm doing my best. There was a drunk driver incident. I was in the car uh, with someone my mom used to date, and she had come home or come to my house looking for my mom because I guess they were out hanging out somewhere, and they parted ways somewhere. And I think what it was is I know now is that my mom recognized that she was drunk and didn't get in the car with her. And so she lost my mom and then went to go find her. But here I am at 14, 15 years old, and she comes to the house saying, I lost your mom. She's out there somewhere. So I'm scared. So my dumb ass hops in the car with her to go look for my mother. And I don't think I realized until it was too late that she was drunk. And when I say drunk, I mean drunk. So basically, jump forward. The night ends in this. If you're from Chicago, you know what Lakeshore Drive is. Imagine as a 14-year-old having a driver coming off of Lakeshore Drive into the Rogers Park area, the huge turn, and then deciding to go, you know what, I think you should drive and just let go of the wheel and go, haha, you take it, and like it's a game. Coming off the expressway at about 50 miles an hour. And so I'm trying to drive from the passenger side around this huge curve where there's just cars everywhere. I mean, it's around midnight, but it's Chicago. It's busy. And so I'm freaking out. And, obviously I'm damn near crashing at this point. But luckily, she takes the wheel back and we don't crash at that point. And so I'm freaked out, but now I don't know what to do. I'm 14. I'm like, I still want to find my mom. Uh, we end up driving some more, and I don't know what happens to her, but we get around this one street around Western Avenue, and she just steers right through the oncoming traffic, the other lane, all the way across. We get hit by a car there, and then she slams right into a street lamp pole. And it was at that point that my face cracked the windshield. And my knees were like I was all the way up in the dashboard at that point. And, it's funny. It's like everybody's, I joke about having a tough body because, like, I didn't die and I didn't go all the way through the windshield, thank God, but I did crack it with my face in my head. And my knees were all torn up. We were both bleeding from the legs. And I walked out of there and walked to my house and then eventually the hospital because like the next day we went to the hospital and I had again I had a concussion. I had some scars on my face. I've still got some marks from that. My knees were pretty damaged, pretty banged up. But I was also a wrestler, so I had bad knees anyway. But it's I still can feel that car accident. I can still feel that smash and the pain associated with the terrified thoughts that like I was not gonna see my mom again. Because this is like pre-airbag too. There wasn't no fucking airbags. And yeah, that one still messes with me because I really thought I was gonna die twice in one night. Uh, and you would think like that. Some people would say like, okay, well, yeah, maybe that's enough for you to have a fear, the fear you do about driving. Because yeah, I get in cars and I'm nervous, even as a passenger. If I'm ever in a car with you and I'm quiet, it's because I am concentrating on not freaking out. Um, and you know, it's funny. That's not the last story. This is the last story. Yes, that says car chase and guns because years later, uh, I actually bought a car because I was like, I think in my 20s, I was like, I'm gonna try to get over this fear. And me and my roommate at the time bought a car. We split it, and we were like, use it to get around. And he was teaching me, and it was going well. Except like he also was in a relationship with a young lady who had an ex-boyfriend who was the head of the gang in the neighborhood and did not like the fact that my roommate was dating her. And so one day we were out just, I don't know, running errands or something. And this dude and several of his people spot us in their Jeep and begin to ram us and chase us. And y'all, when I tell you that I was involved in a car chase, I mean like the kind of shit you see on TV car chase. Like, because they were, this went on for like maybe 10 minutes, at least it felt like. And it involved, like, they definitely had guns. They were showing us to him, like at one point they aimed it at me, aimed it at him, and then like, I don't know if they shot it. I was too whatever. Like I didn't get shot obviously, but they were ramming us, following us, and we were trying to get away. We actually were trying to drive to the police station. But the way that they were assaulting us with their vehicle involved us driving through people's front yards on the sidewalk. Like I was terrified that we were gonna kill somebody, or we were gonna get killed. And at one point, my roommate, he tried to make this wild turn because we were pretty close to the police station at that point, and they ended up like ramming us when he made the turn. Like they sped up somehow and then hit a bunch of other cars, uh, and then they got out with their weapons. Because because the car was totaled at that point. They got out with their weapons and they pulled a gun on me. They pulled a gun on him. They pulled a gun on her, and I don't remember everything that was said. But by that time there was a bunch of witnesses out on the street, which is probably why they didn't just up and shoot us. Like we literally drove on the sidewalk, so people had come out of their house at that point and was like, "What the hell is going on in my neighborhood?" Because we hit like people's cars and tore up fences, and so they ended up getting in their car and taking off before the police arrived and just left us there. And that's that one sticks with me, y'all. That one sticks. I don't think that trauma or that experience is just resulting in just car trauma. I have other things that I have to deal with from that, and then I'm from Chicago. I got a lot of stories similar to that, and I'll tell those some other time. But this one in particular is related to vehicles, and so even today, even 20 something years later, I get in the car. And I've been behind the wheel trying to practice, and I don't know. I tense up, and there's something about it. I've talked to my therapist about it. I don't know how to get over this. And it's hurt me. It's hurt me because like I've had to turn down certain jobs, or my jobs have been more difficult because I don't drive, or always having to rely on other people, even if they like are like willing and like, yes, I'll help you. I'll take you anywhere you go. I got you. At some point, that does become inconvenient to them, regardless of what they say. Best intentions aside, like if you have to give me a ride all the time, you're gonna be annoyed at some point, and that's something that I have to deal with because otherwise, I'm either walking or taking a bus or an Uber or something like that. Um, but anyway, that's the story. That's the story of why I don't drive and why it's one of my biggest fears and biggest things that messes with my life. Um, And so I don't know. I thought I would share it in hopes that like people stop assuming or asking me where I'm going or how I'm getting there or whatever because I'm not going to drive there. But two, to like openly talk about your fears and traumas and maybe I'm not the only person out there like this. Maybe somebody else has a story that they want to tell, and that's kind of the reason why I started this channel. The music video reactions is fun. The comic book interviews, creator interviews are fun. But really, I started this so I can connect with people around the world, and so this is my attempt at doing that. If you got something out of this, or if you have questions, please, just put something in the comments, and I promise I'll respond. Um, I will see you at the next time I decide to tell a story. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all of my subscribers, and y'all take care of yourselves, and I'll try to keep taking care of me. Peace, y'all.